Hi everyone, Lazy Fire here. Welcome back to Battlefield 4 Multiplayer. Today we're on Hainan Resort once again, and I have a new guest with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, this is Randy. I'm generally shit at Battlefield. I probably haven't played in the last few months, so you don't know me.
Well, that's totally fine because, let's face it, I have not had anyone really well versed in this game on the any of the episodes or even in these multiplayer videos. I mean, the closest person I had was Three Toes, who we both played Battlefield 3 with on the consoles.
Oh yeah,
So he came in for the first single player video and a multiplayer video. So
yeah,
he showed up with me. But you do remember this map, I'd imagine. It's one of the more
yeah,
popular
yeah.
ones. And of course, you remember Murder Boats.
Oh yes, murder boats. Yeah, I haven't played. I stopped playing around when Second Assault came out.
Yeah, that's totally fine because that thing was completely broken as fuck and featured a bunch of terrible maps.
We got Get Rinsed 420 offering some sage advice.
Oh God, this guy. You know what? And I'm sure you'll agree. There were times in Battlefield on the consoles and in this game where I just like can't handle what's happening, and I will complain loudly in chat of any nature
Yeah,
that people are being dicks, or I'm not really happy, or anti-fun was coined from one of those situations. So I'm not like the quietest person in the world, but this guy, he was with us for 3 games before this, just constantly complaining, throwing out slurs, throwing out insults at people who killed him. And like you'll see a couple times in this video where I completely stop what I'm doing in the middle of a fight and start typing at him to tell him to shut up. Like I could.
yeah. I
The
mean,
guy.
we only really had that problem with Carmine and Slayer. Carmine
Yeah,
more in Black Ops 2.
yeah. Well, hey.
That was fun.
We should probably explain that Carmine was this guy that we found on Xbox Live in the Call of Duty days, and he more or less just started following us around and complaining and telling us about his life and everything. He was one of those guys who didn't really have much to do besides video games, and so he followed us to the next Call of Duty, and then he followed us to Battlefield and a bunch of other games. At one point, somebody bought him an account, so he is now a goon. So I don't know if this has become a hell dump kind of video, but he's basically not well liked. So whenever we try to compare somebody to somebody we don't like, Carmine is the obvious choice to compare him to. It's kind of a sad state of affairs, I guess. That's how we roll. Back to the game. The murder boats have active protection on them, as you probably well know.
Oh yeah.
One of the recent patches broke that.
Oh really?
So people are, like other boats especially, are firing straight through active protection at times.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some really weird shit that happened in the last few. The AC-130 gunship that's on some maps, that can sometimes become invulnerable.
All
Some
right.
vehicles, if you fly them too high, become completely uncontrollable. For example, the Little Bird on this map, if you get it, I played this map later on in that night. Oh, watch this.
Oh nice.
No, not nice. He fucking J-damned me.
He got owned, and he also has a good emblem.
Yeah. That guy was around for quite a few games that night, actually. Uh, but yeah, look at Get Rinsed in the chat.
Yeah, yeah. I just saw that.
This is like the exact thing that when people complain about like video game communities, this guy is the person they complain about. Just like a whiny entitled child who decides that slurs are really the best way to communicate with people.
Well, it gets a
And
reaction, right? I
oh
mean,
god, I accidentally jumped on a racism encouraged server recently,
oh yeah, yeah,
and yeah, those that's really just it's just people who want to be racist, but they don't really have an outlet for it in their lives. Yeah, that
yeah.
don't go near those things. I had it in my favorites list because we were going to invade it one night with the goon team, but the server
Yeah.
was set up so shittily that it was just not even worth it.
Is that the MG36 you're using?
No, this is actually a new gun. It's the AWS.
Oh,
This
okay.
is in the Naval Strike DLC. That's
Okay.
got delayed for the.
Nice.
Yeah, it just got delayed for the PC. It was supposed to come out on Tuesday, and about 3 or 4 hours before it was going to release, Dice announced that the PC version of the DLC was going to be delayed until maybe early April. Um,
Nice.
Now, the reason they stated this is because there's a planned update to the game
Mm-hmm.
that was going to be released around the same time. And watch this, right in the middle of a field, or like where snipers are going to aim at me, I completely stopped to complain to this guy and tell him to shut up. But that's how involved I was in this conversation with him.
Yeah.
But the DLC was supposed to come out Tuesday, and March 25th, for those of you who may be watching this in the far future. And what happened instead was that DICE released a statement saying that the update that was planned to come out with the DLC was causing some sort of issues on, quote, high-end and medium-end PCs.
Nice.
Uh, and so they were not going to release the DLC. They did release it for the PlayStation 4, and a couple hours before we started recording this, they actually released it for the Xbox One.
Okay.
Apparently, on the PlayStation 4, the update was still really bad and should not have existed. So, like, the server's all rubber band, everything's really bad.
Cool.
Yeah, so it sounds, but most of the issues with PC Battlefield 4 have actually been resolved in my mind, in terms of netcode and operations and everything like that. Most of that seems to be pretty okay. It's some of the balance stuff, and we'll talk about that in a minute. That still needs a little bit of work.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like quite a few players want to give DICE a naval strike and punch him in the gut. That was an anatomy pun.
I'm very happy that you spent all day coming up with that.
Oh, I
anime
did?
Pun. Yeah, I told you early on I needed at least 3, so you
Okay.
gotta keep going here.
All right. That's one.
Okay, all right, you got 2 more, or you don't fulfill your contractual obligation.
Shit.
Uh,
All right.
But here we go. I'm in a jet, and I did a jet video, and I was kind of okay in those. This is why I'm not okay in jets.
Yeah. I somehow unlocked the UCAV through like legit means. I have no idea how I managed that, especially in the stealth jets.
Now the UCAV, that's the drone, or the
Yeah,
pilotable drone that
Basically, the range get fucked unit.
right. That's the one that explodes, right?
Yes.
Air burst, and that takes what, 3 air superiority ribbons or
Yes.
3 attack
Ribbons.
jet ribbons?
3
Ribbons.
jet ribbons, stealth jet ribbons, or something like that.
So each ribbon is like what, 7 kills with the stealth jet?
5 kills.
Okay. And that doesn't. It can be over the lifetime of the thing, right? Not just one
Yeah,
match.
in one match.
In one match
5 kills in one match. Yes.
for a ribbon.
Yeah.
Oh my god! How the hell did anyone unlock that thing?
There were boosting servers where people would just sit down in VTOL mode and scoot around that way, which was actually pretty funny.
And only the F-35 has VTOL, right?
No, all the stealth jets do.
Really? I thought it was the only F-35.
The Chinese one does for sure. You couldn't fly the Russian one on the air superiority or with China Rising, so I don't know. The Russian one only appears in like I want to say Rogue Transmission.
Yeah, it does. You're right. I think it's somewhere else. But no matter. I'm in a Little Bird. Little Bird's had a bit of a nerf from
Oh, did
when you
they?
may have flown them last. The 25mm cannon, which I'm using here, actually has a smaller blast radius when it hits the ground. It's still fucking effective as shit against infantry and
Those poor
vehicles, too.
Skylords.
Oh, the poor Skylords. Well, actually, it got another buff recently, too. The flare wait time, you can see here, it started off at 25 seconds to recharge. 20 seconds now.
Oh.
And the anti-air weapons like Stingers and Iglas now do 35 damage instead of 40. So they can tank a couple shots before they have to really get out of an area. They also, I don't think, can...
That didn't change anything.
They can also no longer, as far as I know, cause instant disable from the shots, and they won't tip your fucking thing over anymore either.
Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, so there's quite a few changes. They were mostly made I almost crashed
Wow.
on that jet. They were mostly made so the attack chopper would be a bit more viable, but it's helped the Little Bird in some ways too. They've also reduced the rate at which people can repair you. So
Oh, that's
it's
good.
not-
That was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's no longer... Oof, okay, well, that was bad. There's a good chance that whoever killed me was not actually in that boat, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a kill cam bug you may have heard of. And I explained it in another video, but basically what happened was the kill cam now displays whoever did the most damage to you instead of who killed you.
I actually wouldn't mind that. That actually sounds like a welcome improvement in my book.
Yeah, hey, it doesn't crash the game, so it must be okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the different helicopters, I mean, the the little bird with its various abilities is still, in my mind, a much better helicopter than the attack chopper. But at the same time, the little bird does have a few more disadvantages now because you can't just fucking repair the thing from inside of it constantly.
Hey, well, the active protection on that worked right there. You fired the tow missile and it blew up.
Yes, the tow missile seems to actually respond to active protection. It's the shells that don't seem to work, and it's kind of weird that the active protection for boats seems to be like that when for tanks it was actually fixed. Oof, well that hurt. Now you see the stars that are appearing on my screen here?
Oh yeah, that's new. Those are the AA turrets, right?
Yeah, they're the anti-air missiles. And they are probably one of the more annoying little things they added to this game. Now, they're not too bad. They basically do the same damage as a Stinger or Javelin would do.
They're just like really quick, and they have they're unidirectional, right? Like
No,
once you set them up, they don't move.
Yes, once you set it, well, oh, okay. Once you set them up, you're not supposed to be able to move them. In reality, when the game first launched, okay, so the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, etc., those guys did not get immediate access to these weapons. The PC guys, however, when they issued this patch, it made all of the weapons in Naval Strike available to the people with PCs.
Okay,
so
good job,
we
guys.
got to. That's why I can use the AWS and there's AA mines, despite the fact that those are both in Naval Strike. This is how it's been with each one of the updates, actually. So, as more weapons have rolled out, the PC generally gets access to them way earlier, even before some of the stuff's out. You just have to know what you have to do to unlock them. With the AWS, it's pretty simple. It's 3 machine gun ribbons and 3 vehicle destroys.
Are there any that you can't unlock now? Like I know that with Second Assault there were some, like it was map-specific actions.
No, I think in Naval Strike you can get all of them. Maybe there's one that's related to the carrier mode, but Titan mode is probably how people who played 2142 will remember it. But overall, everything was pretty much available from the start. So there are people day one running around with the AA mines. Now the AA mines, you're supposed to be able to just place them and kind of like set it and forget it sort of thing, which I think is a Billy Mays pitch. And the problem there was that there was a bug, or rather an oversight in the code, that allowed for two things with the AA mines when DICE first put them out there. One, you could pick them up if you knew how to do it, which is like when they started sparking, you just go pick them up.
Oh, is that after they fired or something, or just after they've been down for a while?
After they fire their 2 rounds, you can go pick them up. But not only that, but you could also equip them with any rocket launcher you desired.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that doesn't sound. That's. Were there any other like things you couldn't like equip 2 rocket launchers at once?
No,
right?
no, you can't. But they've changed that. There was a patch issued before Naval Strike even came out for the PC that would take out the ability to use the lock-on weapons. Unfortunately, in Battlelog, you could still use them. So even after they took out, even if they took out the ability to equip it in the game, if you just equipped it before you went into the match in Battlelog, you'd be able to use it. Very weird stuff.
I don't know. I think that's just weird in general because, like, generally, like, it's a lot less restrictive with gadgets. Like in Battlefield 3, you can only, like, the Mav took up certain slots. You can only equip that with certain things. Yeah. But now it seems much more open, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things I really should have gone over in one of the early videos. But yeah, in Battlefield 3, you were basically limited to a certain set of abilities or unlocks in each one of your categories. So one of them, with you're the support guy, one of the things is always going to be an ammo box. And you can see here our team is keeping the enemy out of the sky with those AA mines. But in this game, you can completely do away with the ammo box as one of your pickups as support, and you can have a grenade launcher and what's the other thing, and like C4 or something, or you could have a grenade launcher and the mortar or whatever you want to do. Oof, I don't know why I accepted that revive and where those guys came from. Look at this guy again. Rinse just eventually does leave, by the way, so it's not for nothing. Yeah.
I forgot they changed the admin text to be very obnoxious now.
Yeah, and there's a script running on this server that makes it that way.
Yeah. No, I think all admin text was like a different color, like to stand out more. I remember that being changed before I stopped playing.
Yeah, that too. It's not as bad as the stuff that appears, like admin text will sometimes appear in the center of the screen,
They're like
server messages.
raid
Yeah,
shouts.
yeah, I wish. I wish there were rage shouts in this. But yeah, some of the people who have these admin scripts are fucking ridiculous. It's like 1,000 exclamation points, surrounding
Oh
the
yeah,
text of "vote on the next map." Just, that stuff just drives me nuts.
that was some very poor situational awareness there. Before you
Oh
even went
yeah.
down the stairs, you saw the guys to the right. You got dunked on though.
I got dunked on. Yeah, one of the they actually introduced platoons finally.
Oh yeah.
So there's a goon platoon that is dunk, and it references the chaos dunk. So of course.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, the big thing right now with the AA mines is that you can no longer equip them with rocket launchers, which makes them kind of useless in a lot of ways because they have only 200 meters of range, which sounds like a ton, but I think it's 500 meters or 700 meters for stingers and iglas and such. So
Oh.
the only real way you end up using them is if people say shrug off a stinger round and then keep advancing forward, like I'm stupid enough to do at times, and then you get them. Now this is, I should mention the AWS, I talked about it in another video, but yeah, the AWS is fucking ridiculous. It's sort of a mix between a machine, I was going to say an LMG and oh, yeah, Chrono Jam is not hacking, by the way, when they're saying he's hacking. He's actually really, really good with an AA gun and will just destroy people. But I don't think he's even in that right now. Anyways, I keep getting kind of sidetracked here. Oh yeah, he is in an AA. The thing with the AWS is that it actually got a nerf before the fucking DLC was released. So you could
Nice.
access it, and they actually had to nerf it before you could actually get the DLC that it was in. But
So does it like have the capacity and recoil of a LMG with like the handling and characteristics of an assault rifle, kind of like the RPK?
yeah, pretty much exactly. It's got a very. It also had some really nice. The recoil on it was really, really manageable. Like you'll see it in this video, it's very manageable. But I really wish I could have killed that guy. But he just. I hate when they do this. They jump out and then they gun you down. Oh well. But yeah, it was really, really manageable when it first came out. You could just use it at a distance. You could run into a room and kind of mow people down if you had to. It does less damage than of my beloved PKP Pechnik, but it still does enough damage to make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
So I have basically replaced it. It's now my third or fourth most killed with weapon or something like that. Somebody
Yeah.
got 1,200 kills with it
Christ.
before they nerfed it, so that took a week. And
Yeah. The
I should-
RPK 74, the old school one, was actually real decent from what I remember, and it also had the added bonus to take me back to Sarajevo.
yeah, the RPK 74 was a fun weapon in Battlefield 3 at the very least. One of the things I do miss in this is the fact that there's no faction-specific weaponry anymore. I know that for the most part that made it really hard in the early game to be kind of balanced, considering that sometimes you'd have weapons that were completely different, or like the engineer weapons I think were a really good example of this. Excuse me, where the Russian one was kind of okay and the one for the US was kind of trash. So I can understand wanting to get away from that. And if you ever played Ghost Recon Future Soldier,
Nope.
okay, that was a game where you had faction-specific weaponry not just at the start, but throughout the entire multiplayer. If you were Russian or US, you had access to completely different weaponry. And
Like Planetside 2.
yes,
Kind of.
but the basics of it were that with the U.S. you kept getting these really great assault rifles, and with the Russians you got the first starter assault rifle, and that was the only really good one the entire time. So you're basically using one assault rifle.
These Bolshevik construction.
It was pretty bad, but you know what the fun thing was that you With the Russian side, you could put a drum mag on your starter rifle and have a 74 round fully auto weapon.
Nice.
So, why do anything else?
Drum mags make me feel funny in my pants.
Oh, like the one on the AWS?
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought that was the MG36 because that traditionally has that in Battlefield games. Is that even in?
I have not seen it yet. If it's in here, they haven't announced it either. But the AWS is a pretty sweet gun, so I can't complain too much.
Still waiting for the M1 Grand.
And I think everyone, I've not heard the phrase they should make another World War II shooter more in the last few weeks than I have, or more ever than I have in the last few weeks. And they're all wrong for thinking that, by the way.
No, they should just release like an old school weapons pack, like a World War II weapons pack, like a Mosin and the M1, some other cool shit to round it out. And
MD40 for the engineers.
Yeah, I would definitely be all over that.
I think that could work. There's a lot of talk about people who want to go back to World War II shooters. It's like, no, you don't. You think you do, but the way people have reacted to Titanfall, where it's got like 9 guns in the game and there's not a ton of attachments. Oh my god, people are acting like Titanfall personally attacked their mothers in the streets. Like, I've never seen anything like it because there's not enough stuff to unlock.
I mean, the fact that there's only one shotgun is pretty shitty, and I do like my shotguns.
Yeah. I don't know, that shotgun's pretty fucking baller.
It's pretty good, but I mean, I think like a semi-auto one like that, and then like a double barrel or equivalent, something like that, like high power, low cap.
Yeah.
That could go a long way.
So where did I get shot from? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is... Ooh, and look at that. That little bit of frame lag you saw there, that wasn't just me. That was everyone in the server got
nice.
that. Yeah, that was server lag.
I think that was maybe a hill sniper. I thought it was the one guy, but I guess not, because he wasn't highlighted.
Well, that was because of that kill cam bug.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about how it would be fun, or even useful.
Well, I mean, if he's enough of a shitlord to use a SRR, then you can assume it's a hill sniper.
Yeah. Oh man, the SRR. Have you seen? There is a chart of weapons used in Battlefield 4, and the SRR top sniper rifle.
That's not surprising. I mean, magic anti-gravity bullets. Why put effort in the sniping?
Yeah, it should be mentioned that those bullets basically go up when you fire them. It's
yeah, they fall at like 6.8 meters per second, where Earth's gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared.
Yeah.
And then you have weapons like the Goal Sniper Magnum and other, I think, one of the other early sniper rifles that falls at 12.8 meters per second, I think. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of insane. I don't know if you noticed there, but when I was firing the 25 millimeter from the Little Bird, it kind of tracks way lower than anything you'd expect it to.
I don't fly helicopters.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, like, the crosshairs that are generally available to you in the helicopters, they're generally useful. Like, you can kind of tell where the shots are going to land. With... Man, I am tired tonight. With the 25 millimeters on the Little Bird, you cannot. You have to kind of guesstimate. It's a little ridiculous. And yes, it just took 3 people to clear that one guy out of that little room there.
The ship's fun, though.
Yeah, the ship is one of those points that's kind of fun to fight over. If one team gets here a little too early and they just start dropping mines, it can be really difficult to take it out. And we're done.
All right.
That was close, but yeah. Look at that. That was one of the more trying matches I've had since we started this game. But hey, I was happy with it, even if I was complaining the entire time in the chat.
Yeah, there were a few on KFS that ended in the single digits, I think. Yeah. Like 0 to 1, 0 to 5-ish.
Yeah, those are always nail biters. But Randy, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll see you in the last episode of the campaign.
Yeah, nice stats, shitlord.
I am the ultra shitlord.